Good morning and welcome inside the locker room. It is time to say good morning to Tega.
Good morning, Omashe. Why are you greeting my people like that? Greet them with some this weekend greeting. All right,
You didn't do la la left for me, so what would I mean? You left me out
my
of the la la
friend.
left.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the locker room. Thank you for tuning in. Thank God it's Friday.
Friday.
All right,
Okay.
so big things happening this weekend. The first race of the F1 is taking place this weekend in Bahrain. We'll talk a little bit about Christian Horner and how power is power. That's all
Mhm.
I'm going to say about that. And then we'll talk about the big matches coming up this weekend. If you're an Arsenal fan, good news. According to Mikel Arteta, Thomas Partey is available for selection. So let's see how he returns from his layoff. But the Manchester Derby this weekend, that's it, the big one. We'll be talking about that all inside the locker room. But before we do anything about talking about the stories, Omashe, tell us, how can we be a part of the locker room this morning?
To be part of the conversation inside the locker room, we need you to send WhatsApp messages to 0809 444 0981. Once again, 0809 444 0981 for WhatsApp messages. If Tega feels there is a need for therapy before the weekend games, she might let us have the lines open. But you can also raise down to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/smooth 981 FM Lagos. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, leave us a like, that's a thumbs up there, leave your comment, we'll get to read them as the show progresses.
All right, and let's go to the headlines first, and then we'll take the stories after.
On the bill this morning, I need a break. Pesero breaks silence on Super Eagles' future as Christian Horner, Red Bull team principal, denies claims again after alleged messages leak. There is also Pogba. Why always Pogba? Pogba's career in jeopardy as shocked France star handed 4-year doping ban. There would be Manchester United. Rashford asked critics to have a bit more humanity, as also Man United and Liverpool to meet in FA Cup quarterfinals. Chelsea survive. Then comes also the next one. Girona in Italy seek to reignite short La Liga title charge, as there would be Inzaghi reveling in unplayable Inter's Scudetto match, as PSG coach Luis Enrique promises much better team next season. Is this season over yet? But this is the size of what to come.
So those are the headlines. Let's start with Jose Pesero and Nigeria because there's a lot of gist going on there.
Jose Pesero has broken silence about his future after his contract with the Super Eagles of Nigeria expired after the 2023 African Cup of Nations.
Yeah, so you we could have spoken about him being tired, but let me just get to the stories of you reading through it. Jose Pesero. So we heard that Jose Pesero wanted to take the Algerian job because Algeria was trying to offer him something different, and Algeria was looking at him. Turns out Algeria has hired Petkovic. They've officially announced that Petkovic is their choice. So all the bragging that Jose Pesero was making about Algeria, or allegedly making about Algeria, is gone. So no Algeria job. But he said he had 6 or 7 suitors. And he doesn't
Hmm.
want to mention any names, but he has
Pesero.
6 or 7 suitors that have come for him. Um, and so, but all he's telling them is that he wants to take a break, and then later he will decide what he wants to do with his life. My take is that he's angling for an extension. Is that simple? Um, the Super Eagles job is one of the best he can get. And truth be told, yes, the Super Eagles got to the finals of the African Cup of Nations, and they finished off with silver. But you look at the performance of the Super Eagles over time, and there's not been much progress. And you can't say, oh, this is the tactical difference he's brought. And yes, some people say, oh, yes, he has sorted out Nigeria's defense. We had a goalkeeping problem, but that was basically a case of finding the right individual as opposed to finding the right tactics. So I think that all this Gaga is just angling to get better negotiating power with the NFF. You can't tell me anything else. My favorite choice was that after the African Cup of Nations, they should have told him goodbye and God bless. But I want to know from the rest of you, what do you think? If you are the NFF, would you rush to get his signature and keep him as coach? Or would you say, thank you for a job well done? The numbers to call are
014489981 will be where you get your calls across. 014489981. Tega needs
so
to
tell
know.
me, all these drama, do you want the NFF to hurriedly sign Jose Pesero, or they should not buy into the drama and just say, okay, go and meet your 6 or 7 other suitors? That's what I want to know.
Oh no. It is that part for me where it was goodbye and God bless. Honestly, I didn't see that coming on a Friday morning.
that was look, from the start, never been a fan. Always said that he should go, regardless. So in fact, even if he won it, I
All of
wanted him to go.
your
But
people
let's
are on
hear
the
from you.
line.
Yeah, right.
Hello, good morning. Name and location. Locker room. Emeka from Surulere. So go ahead. What's your thoughts on Pesero contract extension? Say. All right, that's Emeka. Then next come in, we've got good morning to you. Name, location. Bash from Lagos. So Bash, what's your thoughts?
It's a long-term process. Hello?
All right. Yeah, we got you, Bash. Your points noted now. Okay, so we'd like to get a few more calls in before we go over now to Tega. 014489981. Would you want Jose Pesero to keep his job according? That's the question Tega is asking this morning, and call is here. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. Name and location.
My name is Paul calling from Ikeja.
Paul from Ikeja. Go ahead, we're listening.
Well, let me use some of this language. Adios, Vamu, Sueto, bye-bye, go. In fact, I don't know why all these things have not been playing out for this man to go all this while. Because he only used us to climb the steps. He did not even bring any tactical information on what we want. Imagine him. We, the people that are watching the game, are the ones shouting, we don't want a particular keeper. And he knew that this guy is zero, and he was still insisting that he's the coach. Now, he has been experimenting on all our players all this while. The last game, the game we played before the AFCON, we lost. Is it Shogin or something like that? He said the tactical formation that he used, he was still experimenting on it. Until he finally gets it right. Now, ask Petero 101. How many tactical formations did you bring to this country? For us, for you. And in the end, we were beaten by a local coach in Cote d'Ivoire. And he's there still bragging. He wanted to use us to climb. Okay, where he's coming from in Portugal like that, what was his antecedent over there? He has been telling all this while.
Okay.
How about you?
Okay, that's it.
All right, we can't take any more phone calls for now. Let's take the next story. But thank you so much for your input. So let's take the next story. Let's go to Christian Horner and Bahrain.
Christian Horner, as we speak, Red Bull principal Christian Horner has again denied allegations of inappropriate behavior after a series of alleged messages were leaked. Again, Tega is a woman
All right.
involved
So
in this
remember,
matter.
I said that after a while it became apparent that it was a female employee that was involved in these inappropriate claims, and there were messages that had been going back a year. But Red Bull released a statement on Wednesday evening saying that they have completed their investigation and they have cleared Christian Horner, and he's still going to be in charge of the Red Bull team. Now, but they said they are not going to release the details of the investigations because the details about the private individuals are there and they do not want to reveal that. And of course, other people are just this just reminds me of again the F1 investigation when Lewis Hamilton was robbed of his 8th title, and I will say that till I die. He was robbed of his 8th world championship. How they said, oh yes, we had a small human error, but we didn't think it affected it, and we are not releasing the investigation. This smelled like it. Like they decided our bottom line is Christian Horner works very well for the team, so Christian Horner stays. That's how I see it. Because if you want to prove me otherwise, Red Bull, release the investigation, period. You cannot have an investigation and not be transparent about it and just expect us to take your word for it. That is nonsense. The real word I want to use, I can't use it because it is morning radio. And so ultimately, they decided that after their investigations, he's not guilty, so he's going to stay in his job. And so somebody had a few of the messages that were part of the investigation and leaked it. And those messages were inappropriate. And again, he's come out to deny it. I think Red Bull decided their better bottom line was to have Horner in charge. And so they did a hogwash of an investigation and they've come out with this thing and they're okay with it. Bottom line, they want to keep winning championships. Christian Horner helps them win championships. And so they found a way to keep him in his job. So we have to move away from that, I'm guessing, for now, to the Bahrain Grand Prix that is happening this weekend. So far in testing, Mercedes has been fastest, not just Mercedes, but Lewis Hamilton was fastest in practice sessions yesterday. But again, you don't know if, because we heard that when during testing, Verstappen's engine was turned down. So we are not sure if we are seeing the full potential of the Red Bull car, whether they're sandbagging or maybe they will bring out the full potential later, or if it's really that Mercedes has caught up. My belief is that Red Bull are hiding something. They're sandbagging. So we never really know until qualifying tomorrow. So we'll know exactly the speed of cars. But so far, Mercedes looks good. Is it going to be good throughout the season? We wait to find out.
Well, Tega, the meat in the next story will take a lot of time to tear down with the cutlery, so we'd have to just hold it there and ask that you get your thoughts across on 0809-444-0981. Go over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/smooth981fm. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and go back and see previous edition of The Locker Room and leave your comments there. We're Locker Room on Smooth 98.1 FM. Stay tuned.
The revolving story of South Africa, from the propellers of first aircraft to the powerful engines of today. Each market, each destination echoes the story of South Africa's ascent. To every passenger who shared this first price, to every crew member and staff who became part of our family, and to every supporter who believed in the wonder of flight, thank you. Be part of our 19th journey. Here's to the next chapter. African Airways, where dreams take flight.
Now, why anytime I want chop like this, I put better things inside. For my damn porridge, after I don't put my fish, I go on take out with onions, tatashi and ugu, come season out with correct no cubes for that delicious taste. Because my people, good life, now life where you chop better. Tama all your food with correct vegetables, come season out with no cubes for that obonge delicious taste. Today, chop better.
Oh, yes. Nasco quality cornflakes are so full of nourishing goodness because they are whole flaked cornflakes. Whole flaked cornflakes are made by a natural flaking process that retains all the natural goodness of the whole corn for whole nutrition, whole taste, and whole crunchiness of the whole family. So next time you're eating cornflakes, make sure it's whole flaked Nasco cornflakes. Nasco cornflakes, nourishing goodness anytime. Now, what does it mean to be the overall best? Is it the overall accolades or the overall bragging rights? Is it the roar of the crowd and sharing your name over all others? Introducing overall best celebrity showdown on Africa Magic, where big names play big games. Watch Saturday and Sunday from the 3rd of March as 3 squads led by 6 celebrity captains go head-to-head for 7 straight weeks of fun, games, and fierce competition for the title of overall best. The Africa Magic Showcase, Urban and Family. Stay connected to DSTV. It's your moment.
Hi, Lagos. My name is Buchi Franklin. You're listening to Smooth Breakfast.
It is still the locker room on Smooth 98.1 FM. Tega is still here. Tega, is it time to touch base with Italy and Juventus?
Yes, let's go straight to Italy and Juventus.
France star Paul Pogba has been given a 4-year ban from football by Italy's anti-doping tribunal after testing positive for testosterone last August, his club Juventus said on Thursday.
Well, huge one for Pogba, but it was coming from the minute the news broke that he was suspected of doping. This looked like he was in the offing because the various samples came back with a positive test. Now he's saying he's going to appeal. I don't know if he's going to appeal the result of the testing or he's going to appeal the verdict that 4 years is too much. But yeah, he got a 4-year ban. And some people will say, just find a way to retire from there. The problem is when you are banned from football for doping, what's your future in football? Because when you retire, you have football, you may have a career in punditry, you may have a career as a coach, you may have a career as a consultant or an agent, but for doping, that kind of follows you around. And so even any other job you want to do within football, outside playing, can become much of a struggle. So it's a tough one. It's a tough future ahead for Paul Pogba. I think the best thing is to just apologize, say that you're going for rehab and see how you can bounce back from this. But this certainly looks like the end of his career. I don't think there's any coming back.
Okay, let's move on now. Beating a man when he's down would do anyone no good at this moment. Let's see what Manchester United are looking like as Marcus Rashford says he can take any headline, but asked his critics to show a bit more humanity before the question is commitment to Manchester United and the love for football.
Well, he has come under heavy criticism, and so you could say rightly so, in the sense that they increased his wages for the season because of what he did towards the end of last season, and they expected him to, get better even this season. he's a 26-year-old footballer, which means he's ideally supposed to be at the peak of his career. Unfortunately, he's not delivering the results. And yes, a few people can go overboard about this. You know how it is. Once a player is out of form and the mob attacks, the mob doesn't care. So I agree with him. Show some humanity in your criticisms. You can question his form. You can question maybe his numbers or his performance on the day, but be humane about it. You cannot be criticizing a player like that every 2 seconds. I know I do it sometimes. Yeah, I pick on him too, but performance based as opposed to. I've seen some racial comments. I've seen some people say, "Oh, you die miserable deaths." It's horrible. When you get those kind of things, this one is almost as if it's no longer about football. It's now about the person. And what did Rashford ever do to you? Sitting in your house. So yes, I agree with that. Unfortunately for him, the weekend doesn't get any easier. It is the Manchester Derby. Manchester City taking on Manchester United. And if you remember, midweek, Manchester United did well, qualifying for the next round of the FA Cup, where they get to face Liverpool. We'll talk about that later. But Manchester City scoring 6 goals, Erling Haaland scoring 5 of them. And that is the team you're going to play against. So first of all, with the Manchester Derby, it's a completely different level of competition, because when it comes to derbies, both teams are going at it for bragging rights, for pride, for everything more than just football. And to make matters worse, on paper, and especially with previous performance and even with trophies won in recent times, Manchester City seem to be the superior part of Manchester right now when it comes to the derby. So it's a tough one. In fact, I think this was the worst match to come out to speak before, because if you thought they were criticizing before, if you don't perform in this Manchester derby, it'll be ×2. They'll start picking on all the people on the other side that are younger than you that seem to be performing. So the weekend gets only tougher for Marcus Rashford. I'd say he has a point. Be humane in your criticism, but I'll also say that he should take it in his stride and put in the work on the pitch. Sometimes the best way to silence critics is to deliver the result. End of discussion.
You wonder
All right.
what it is like to become an Onana. But moving on, Manchester United.
Yeah, on that note, let's also take the score. Let's also take some predictions. Yeah, it's the Manchester Derby. What can you? I want the score lines. What you think the outcome of the Manchester Derby would be? Remember when people brag that Manchester City will beat Chelsea, and that one ended in a draw. So please, this weekend, brag softly. So I'm asking now, what do you think will be the scoreline, or what do you think will be the outcome of the Manchester Derby? The numbers to send your messages to are
0809 444 0981, 0809 444 0981. Manchester United will host Liverpool in an FA Cup quarterfinals blockbuster after the bitter rivals took contrasting routes to the fifth round victories on Wednesday.
Yeah, really, really tough task for both teams. Casemiro reopening his head injury just to get Manchester United a goal, and then Liverpool again with teenagers defeating Southampton and making it to the next round. Which is why I'm not listening to anything Jurgen Klopp says. If he cries about injury, I'll be like, "Doing," because even with his academic kids, he's winning match after match. You know how it is. Like I said, there's a form that your team gets in, that even if you put a janitor from the club, you still get the results. Liverpool are in that form right now. So I like the way the FA Cup is set up. The teams are facing each other. Manchester United against Liverpool, one of the oldest rivalries in football, for a chance at FA Cup glory. It'd be interesting to see. Hopefully by the time that those matches are played, Liverpool will have some returnees from injuries, so we can get the full quality of the derby that we expect to see. But that will be interesting to see Manchester United taking on Liverpool in the FA Cup.
Let's breeze over to Italy this morning, as surprise contenders Girona seem to have stumbled in their La Liga title bid when they went three games without a win earlier this month, but victory on Monday moved them back into second place for reckoning.
Yeah, so the Girona are back in second place, the surprise title contenders at some point, but I don't think they are contending for any title anymore. I mean, Real Madrid have stepped up to gear 2 and kind of left everybody else behind. And what makes it even tougher, Girona will be playing Mallorca on Sunday, and Real Madrid would already have played Valencia on Saturday evening. Valencia being in the form they're a good team. They can be a tricky team, but they concede way too many goals. And on that note, you'd say Real Madrid, who tend to score goals at every point in time, could be able to put some goals in the back of the net and get all 3 points before Saturday. So it will be interesting to see. It's going to be a great fixture. Real Madrid competing against Valencia. Unfortunately, I just think Real Madrid have the edge when it comes to form to get all 3 points against Valencia. Also this weekend, Barcelona take on, I think Barcelona has the toughest match because they're playing against Athletic Bilbao. Remember, Athletic Bilbao knocked them out of the Copa del Rey just a few weeks ago. And so this could be revenge, or this could be another beatdown. Okay. So because Barcelona, again, not in the best of form. So let's see how that pans out. And then Atletico Madrid will be taking on Real Betis. Atletico Madrid losing, I think, by 4 goals against Athletic Bilbao in the Copa del Rey just this past midweek. So they're coming from their own beatdown, not had enough rest, and they're taking on a tough team like Real Betis. It could be tough in the La Liga this weekend, but for Girona, I don't know that this is the weekend that they close the gap against Real Madrid. I don't think so.
Away from Spain now, really, to Italy now, as Simone Inzaghi could barely contain his glee on Wednesday night as their Inter Milan put 4 goals past Atalanta and took another step towards a 20th Serie A title.
Yeah, so a good one for Inter Milan. 12 points clear before any matches are played this weekend. By this one, I could say that he has one hand on the Scudetto. And he doesn't play again until Monday night, where they face Genoa. So regardless of what Juventus or AC Milan does this weekend, it could be tough. Juve is traveling to play Napoli on Sunday night. And that's already going to be a tough one because Napoli seems to be on the mend. Remember, midweek, they put 6 goals past their opponents, and Victor Osimhen scored a hat-trick. So fantastic one for them. So Napoli seem to be on the rise, but they're taking on Juve on Sunday. That's a tough fixture for Juve. So I don't know how easy it would be for anybody to say that they want to close the gap on Inter Milan. So as far as I'm concerned, Simone Inzaghi and his boys can already be celebrating the Scudetto. 12 points clear is 12 points clear. Almost insurmountable.
Okay, just quickly sprint around France this morning as PSG Paris Saint-Germain coach Luis Enrique on Thursday promised that French Giants will be a stronger team next season despite the impending departure of Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah, so remember he even benched Kylian Mbappe to say, PSG has to find a way to play without Kylian. Kylian still had to come off the bench to score a penalty for them to win. So at the end of the day, they didn't really find a way to play without him. But yes, PSG plays tonight against Monaco. So I think that's what he needs to focus on now. They're 11 points clear at the top of the table. Looks like they're almost going to win League One, but PSG didn't put all that money into PSG owners. They put all that money into PSG just to be winning League One. They did that to make an impact in the Champions League. And if they're going to make an impact in the Champions League, they're going to have to get a better team. So I agree with him. If they keep him, or should they keep him, they should be having some interesting summer buys, and they should focus primarily on their midfield and their central defense. Yeah.
It looks like a fine place to see what the messages are saying this morning. I've got
All right.
Ayo from Festac. Pesero must go a beg. Let a Nigerian take over Ayo from Festac, and then comes in Ojo from It says, Leo Taiwo, Nigeria is like Chelsea, iron fire. Let Pesero remain as our coach. He's good. Who will take over if he's sacked for now? He's good to go. That's it. And then I've got Ayomide's message here. Ayomide saying, I believe the Super Eagles coach should be fired because throughout the entire tournament as AFCON, there was no tactical approach. The final should have been won after the lead at halftime if he had brought in Kenneth Omero and Yusuf and then moving Iwobi forward and using Osimhen pace for counterattacks. This is what I think. But Emeka Onelum's message comes in. Thomas Partey is like that car that spends more time in the mechanic workshop than on the actual road. When the car
Tell me about it.
when the car is giving you too much problem, you sell it and then I'm happy it's returned, but I don't trust those legs. On the Manchester derby with a United defense, Haaland and Bruna will have a field day. I'll go over to YouTube to just get in one message as we close up now. LK Aderogba, since the loss of Chelsea to the secondary school boys of Liverpool, I've lost all interest in football. Posh needs to go. To be gone, to have gone. I tip a draw for the Manchester derby. That's all we can take at this moment.
Okay, but don't leave us now. Watch more football. Okay, watch this weekend. It will be sweet this weekend. All right. On that note, I want to thank you for all your messages and your phone calls. Want to thank you for staying tuned and for joining us on YouTube. Till come your way again on Monday. Aspire to Maguire.
And that's a wrap.